What is good, guys, man? Thank y'all for tuning back into the channel, man. If you're new, hit that subscribe button down below. Once you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. And hit all after you hit the bell should turn white, man. If y'all tune into my reaction video from yesterday, creepy stories from her childhood when she met a Freemason, this is part 3. She has different stories and stuff like this. In this video, she's explaining how she grew up on Hoodoo and I don't really too much I ain't even watched the whole video, man, but we about to get into it. I don't even know what the name of this title gonna be. But you see what the title is now, so I had to figure out the title. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into the video, man, because our stories are amazing. Let's get it.
Okay, y'all, part three of creepy shit that happened to me when I was a kid. So, a lot of people don't consider North and South Carolina the South, but it is very much the South. Much the South. But that's neither here nor there. I was raised most of my life in South Carolina, and in South Carolina, the black people have a reputation of working roots. And for you that don't know what working roots is, it is hoodoo. It is a form of hoodoo, or people call it hoodoo. There's different variations and different understandings from different cultures. But in the black community, yes, a lot of the elders in the community work roots. They do hoodoo. And I was raised on hoodoo. I was raised in spirituality. I was raised to respect my ancestors. I was raised to do all of this shit. So when I'm explaining these videos, don't ever get it twisted for one moment that I'm not spiritual and I don't know anything about my lineage, my ancestors, and tapping in. I don't need nobody to convert me to Jesus and turn back and do all that. If you do your history and you go through history, you would know that black people was forced into Christianity, but that's a topic for another day. You know what I'm saying? This is my story. If you don't want to listen to my story, keep swiping. As simple as that. Anywho, my mom had a longtime friend. And in the black community, a lot of times when you have, friends that's older than you, they come in more like mother figures, aunt figures. So she called this lady her auntie. Now, she was a root worker. She lived in Rockingham, North Carolina, which is, right up against South Carolina. So she lived in Rockingham, North Carolina, and we would go to her house. And, my mom would sit in there and talk to her for hours. And I remember going to her house as a kid. She had all kinds of like jars with herbs, and like it was just like, I don't know, it was just like magical in her house. The energy was never off. The energy was never off. And she always used to sit and talk to me as a kid and tell me that one day I'll wake up and I realize that I'm here for a purpose, and my purpose is bigger than, anybody could ever imagine. As a kid, like I said, I got told that a lot. Now I'm using my platform and I'm using who I am to reach others like me. It's simple. But anywho, one day we went over there and she had grandkids and they stayed up on the hill from her. And we would go play with the grandkids, and they had horses and all this shit in their yard. And I remember it was this very frail black lady sitting on her porch when we pulled up. And my mom used to just go over there, sometimes because she used to get cleansing baths. She used to go there, like, she would literally run you a bath, put all kinds of herbs in it. She would say a prayer over it from the book of Songs. So don't ever get it twisted. Like, hoodoo doesn't exist in the church, baby. It very well does. These same people that sit on the front row of church every Sunday, show up to Bible school, all of that, they be very heavy in hoodoo. Don't ever get it twisted. For those that know, they know, and those who don't. Okay. So anyway, the book of Songs in itself, as I was learned growing up, is almost like a spell book. It can get things off of you. That's what we, say in hoodoo or root work, however you want to call it. You can get things off of you. We never seen it as anything bad. It was something to help people. So people would go to her if they felt like somebody put something on them or put a curse on them. And they would go to her for her to get it off of them. She didn't put any type of curses on people. She wasn't evil or none of that. She was literally here to help, right? And she never took money. You had to put the money on the table. Like, that's just how it was. So this lady came to her, and I remember I was eavesdropping, and we, like I said, we used to play in the front yard. Her kids and her grandkids lived in the house next door, and we used to play with them because we was all like family as kids. So we used to play with them, and we was eavesdropping at the window, y'all. And I remember the lady telling her that since she'd been with her current boyfriend, I actually think it was her husband, that she kept losing weight. She was getting real sick. The doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with her, and she think that he put a root on her. So my aunt, And that's what I call her, my aunt, because my mom called
Man, oh man. I ain't gonna lie. When she just said that, that really brought tears to my eyes, man. Because I think this about some certain people that I'm around, man, and it's just like I can't shake these people up off of me. And now I'm learning about people putting roots on people. This is my first time ever hearing about something like that. Is root like another word for casting a spell or something like that? Y'all comment down below what that is, man. Let's get in back. Let's watch the full video. Let's get back into it.
her aunt, so she was just my aunt. She told her to go run some bath water in the tub, y'all. and and I remember as a kid, I had to pee. So I was knocking on the door because once she started her work, you couldn't go in the house. Once she started her work, you couldn't go in the house. My mom was in the house, but it was her, my mom, and the lady in the house. My mom was in the kitchen. She was sitting in the kitchen because when you walked in the door, the refrigerator was right there and they had a chair beside it, the kitchen, and you walked down the hall and the room that she did all her work in was on the right. My mom was sitting in the kitchen and I'm banging on the door telling her I have to use the bathroom. So I remember her telling me, my aunt saying, "Hey, them kids can't come in here right now." This was a beautiful woman. She had very long, beautiful gray hair. Her eyes was like a funny looking color, but it was always bloodshot red around her eyes because it always looked like she was tired, like she was sleepy. And keep in mind, this is like an 80-year-old woman at this time. She's long. She died a couple of years ago. She died when she was like 100 and something years old, by the way. Um, Anywho, so she told me I could go to the bathroom, and she said, "Well, you go to that bathroom, and as soon as you get done using that bathroom, you take your ass back outside." So I said, and if you know, in the black community, that's normal for us. You know what I'm saying? No, yeah. Anywho, I went in there, and I remember her. She was standing in there, and she was praying, and she was sprinkling herbs in the tub, and she took some Florida water, and she put that in there. And then after I got done using the bathroom, she said, "While you in here, you might as well make yourself a use." She said, "Go in that kitchen, open up that refrigerator, and get 3 eggs out." So I said, "You cooking?" She said, "No, get 3 eggs out. Do what I tell you. Don't ask me nothing else." So I went in there and got the 3 eggs. And she said, "One day you're going to need to know how to do this anyway." Right. And I didn't understand it as a child. I understand it now. I understand it now. That egg work is different. You got to know what you're doing, though. You got to know what you're doing. Um, so I went and I gave her the eggs, y'all. I don't know. After that, I left out the house. I don't know what she did to that lady, but you could hear her screaming, like curdling screaming from the outside. And I remember my grandma, well, damn, not my grandma. I remember my aunt. My aunt took the eggs outside, and she had like one of those old fire, like an old fire pit, and it was like black. And she said, "I'm gonna crack these eggs. Go over there off the corner of the house and get my machete." Um, so I went and got her machete off the corner of the house, and she cracked that egg, and a snake came out that egg. That man had put a root on that woman, and she wasn't able to do nothing in her life. She would anything she tried, she failed at it. She was sick. I remember this like it was yesterday, and at that very moment, I knew something other than what the world will tell you is real. Like this stuff is real, but it's only real if you give power to it. Don't let that get away from you. You know what I'm saying? But evil does exist. Evil eye does exist, and this showed me that people really will hate you. So you got to be careful who y'all dealing with. And that's why when I tell people, when you messing with people and you don't know their ancestors and you don't know the power that's in their lineage and what they possess, and you just out here fucking over people, y'all got to be careful who you fuck with, because everybody ain't to be fucked with. And if you think like my mom, she knew a lot and she did a lot. Like this work, she could do it on her own. She dead and gone now. She's deceased. I never want nobody to fuck around and find out with me. You know what I'm saying? Because once your ancestors go on, even though they're powerful in here in the physical, when they cross over into the spiritual world, they're more powerful than ever. Ever. Be careful who you come across and be careful who you trying to fuck over. Everybody don't need y'all advice. Some people already know. They just not afraid to share their story. Peace and love. Come back for part 4. If y'all want part 4, I can keep going on these series. Listen, the South is a different type of place. And like I said, if you don't consider North and South Carolina the South, that's your own opinion. I grew up here. I
Hey man. Hey man. This is deep. This is real. Man. Man, oh man, I done learned something new this year. I done heard of people putting hexes and stuff on people, so that might be the same thing as putting a hex on somebody, rooting somebody, and then it's stopping you from being the best version of yourself. It's stopping you from doing things that you want to do. Yeah, man, it's very important who you bring into your life, who you got around you, because you just never know who you are dealing with at the end of the day, man. I'm glad I heard this from her though. Y'all comment down below what y'all think. Have y'all ever heard of anything like this? Y'all know of anybody like this? If y'all got any testimonies or any other links to testimonies like hers or whatever the case may be, don't be scared to go to the Instagram, follow me and message me personally, man. We going for part 4. All right? We're going to do part 4 and part 5 tomorrow, man. Get them out the way. But listen, man, at the end of my videos, I always say stay inspired, stay motivated, stay grinding. Till next video, I'm out of here. Peace.